for the elections. Mr. Ido, what's the update?
Yeah, thank you, Nyota. The commission is preparing and finalizing plans for the elections based on the time limit that we have, and everything is on course. We're looking forward to a very successful election come March 28th and April 11th.
Okay, while you're preparing for the elections and all of that, we still have the complaints about the permanent voters' cards. Hear this one. This mail from Ade from Okoba, Agege, Lagos. It says, please pass this on to INEC. We in Ward 8, Unit 11, Okoba, Agege, are yet to collect our PVC. INEC claims they are still expecting them from Abuja. It says the entire people in that unit. What's your take on that?
Well, you see, we hear this report, and I can't say exactly what is happening in that unit that you're talking about. But honestly, if you look at our record of the polling of the voter cards made for Lagos, more than 60% have now been collected, and others are still there. We have between 800 and 1 million cards only to print. All the other cards, that is almost 67 million cards, are already out. As well, more than 67 million cards are already out there. So when I hear this report that somebody says a whole polling unit or a whole ward or a whole constituency, honestly, I like to interrogate further. Because if you have so many of those, we don't see within the 800,000 cards that we are yet to deliver. It's hard to really say, but we can interrogate it further.
Okay. While you're interrogating further or investigating further, this other mail from Olubenga Olatunji from Okeago polling unit in Abeokuta says he and his people have not received their PVCs too. That's from Abeokuta as well. Would you also be looking into that? These are not the only mails we have. There are a lot of other people complaining about the same matter.
I'm aware that there's a very low collection rate in Ogun State. As at the 18th of February, we still have 40-something% collected. Now, in Ogun State, what we have left to deliver is about 200,000 cards. If you take 200,000 cards away from about 1.8 million registered voters, that means we have 1.6 million cards out there. So the 1.6 million cards there, people need to collect those cards. While we know that we are waiting to deliver the 200,000 cards that is outstanding.
Okay, Mr. Do, are you sure these people who are complaining they've not found their cards are not a product of a mix-up? For instance, finding Cross River State PVCs in Kebbi and some other states, this kind of mix-up. Are you sure they're not a product of that?
Well, you see, again, I have had that complaint, and it's true that it happened. But you know, the reality of the fact is that there is not even the Cross River that you referred to. The Red did say that when discovered that there were permanent voter cards belonging to other states, he immediately sent them to those states. That is what happens. While you have, because these are human operations, we should not assume that it is the statistical position is such that there can be no room for mix-ups. Yes, it is possible that cards for one state happen to be delivered because we put all of them together in the same transportation. They are taken to this state and are intended to be delivered in this state. In the course of taking the packets of the vehicle, you will have mix-ups. But whenever such mix-ups are detected, they are immediately rerouted to where they are supposed to go. And that is what you find happening there. It will be the case that you will have a card belonging to another state permanently domiciled in another state and not being directed to that state.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Ido. Thank you for speaking to us. We lost our Skype connection, but we're happy that we could speak to you on the phone. Thank you. Let's come back to our studio. Mr. Naji, the PVCs. You heard Mr. Edo, the mix-up is a human thing. Do you think it's a product of not understanding the entire process? Did anything change from what we used to do that we had these mix-ups?
In fact, it's very unfortunate that all these things happened or are still happening. And indeed, if INEC had acknowledged it had a problem, logistic or otherwise, and for the reason of these problems that it was postponing the election, perhaps the reverberative effects that we're having, the loss of confidence, the capital market and so on, because these things are heightened by the fears of the uncertainty. If the problem is said to be security, when is it going to abate? You understand? And some people are leaving town, and some people are relocating and so on. But if INEC had come out clearly, it is within its competence, under the law, to postpone election if it feels, and it had done that before, and it didn't create this kind of problem. So we are seeing clearly that INEC was not ready for this election by that 14th. And that is very unfortunate, because so much hula baloo have been raised on the issue of security. And that's why we're having a lot of the economic backlash.
We're talking about
the PV up till today, because statistics is nothing. You can lie with statistics. The fact is that even one single person, because if you say that only 10% people died, the family that lost only one person does not know about 10%, because you don't know the multiplier of that person if he were to have been alive on the lives of those that depend on him or her. So the issue of whether it is 40% that have been collected or 50%, there have been a lot of problems, and many people are voicing out their problems. There are some allegations that if you go to certain areas, they say you are not, your card is not there. But if you come with a certain, there are allegations flying up and down. INEC should be able to provide a forum, an opportunity for people to make these complaints, and then have a technologically driven process by which it should be able to address these problems, because time is so limited. And these things are doable. It's not rocket science. Even those people, like somebody say, as pedestrian as that suggestion was, that those people who are driving luxury buses, they carry luggages, and this is logistic. They should have been able to redistribute the cards. I know. So I think that is a very major issue. And INEC must take responsibility, therefore, for so much of the economic woes that Nigeria is also going through. So much so. And I'm being very serious about it.
The point is that we knew about this election 2 years ago. We knew 6 months ago. Why is the alarm being raised 2 weeks or 3 weeks to the election? Shouldn't we have had a status report 6 weeks to the election and now review, and therefore we now have to step up to get things done? Usually when elections are postponed anywhere in the world, it's because of new developments. Maybe a tornado, a volcano or something, right? But you cannot say when you knew very well that your elections were 2 years away, and then a week to the time, you now announce a postponement. What new? And that is what brings about the suspicion that there was something other than what is known.
The electoral umpire consistently said they were ready for the
election. Yes,
but we can see that.
Not only that, the security people said everything was contained as well. Mm-hmm. So both the security situation and the administrative situation of INEC, where people were less than honest with the disclosure. So now that we have this, people are saying, yes, there's never going to be a perfect situation. There's never going to be a perfect. There will be one or two things here and there. But when you are, to the most part of it, you are prepared, then you should go ahead and do it. Because the markets and the world will not accept any other stories.
Okay.
The consequences of another story will be beyond what we can manage.
We'll come back to look at the consequences. Let's go over now. We spoke to our correspondent Imani in Cross River State earlier in the day. Let's hear what let's bring it to you, what she told us earlier in the day. Hello, Imani.
Hello, I'm Imani Joe Adinoye, and I'm standing by here in Calabar, the Cross River State's capital, South Nigeria, to bring you updates as regards some PVCs belonging to Cross River State that were found in Kebbi State as disclosed by the residents elected